I was talking about finding the light and the color that gives you a sense of beauty, but that's not the only thing. It's the life that evokes something positive in us. Just this, and that's really kind of the Bronx. I mean, if we're going back to the Bronx as a subject matter, that's really the Bronx that I am looking to depict. It's not the story of people, dying of, gunshot wounds or needles in their arms, who, obviously exists out there, but it's the story of life that, the vast majority of people here go about their lives with a positive intention, with a desire to live harmoniously and creatively with their fellow human beings. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to function as a society. So, that's the astonishing thing, is in the adversity and the bizarrity and the surreality of our modern environment, people who bring their culture and their, connectedness to this environment and, survive and thrive, and all the great people who are working so hard to make life better for everyone. There's still the spirit of humanity that survives under strangest and most adverse conditions. And what I love about, the layering, as you talked about, is, when people bring their culture and just, bring it out, the Latino, domino games on the street or whatever, and they could be in, San Juan or Havana or something. It just happened to be in the Bronx, and it's kind of strange, and yet people go about their business, And when I grew up in the Bronx, I thought everyone who grew up everywhere had friends who were from every culture, because I had friends from, Dominican friends and Greek friends and Irish and Italian and Jewish and Black Americans. I mean, with my junior high school kids were bussed in from Harlem, and I just thought that was the way life was, that you just spent time and then you went into people's houses and smelled the aromas of different kinds of cooking and met people whose parents spoke all kinds of bizarre languages or whatever. And I thought that was the way the world was. But what better way to live in the world than to be exposed to all the wonderful, cultures and kinds of people, and to treat it like it's normal and natural, So the Bronx, has a lot of positive aspects to it, a lot of layers to it, visually a lot of layers, because our history is very short. From the time of my parents coming up here from the Lower East Side to when it was still farmland at that time, less than 100 years ago, it was farms here. So it's crazy how many layers of history we have around us, the pieces of the Art Deco and the burnt out and the tract housing and everything in between. What's cool about the Bronx as a landscape is its diversity. It's more interesting than a lot of, it's very hilly, and we have a lot of parks, happily. And, this area, we could walk from the studio to right down to the Hudson River, where I used to hang out as a teenager with my friends. There were places to escape to. That's also a part of what I have realized that I'm interested in, is sort of finding the chaos in the world of, chaotic compositions of things that are thrown together, whether it's in nature or whether it's the Bronx, where, as much city planning that goes on, as much architectural planning, as much political planning, what you see could never have been predicted. You look down, Broadway or the concourse, and the confluence of stuff that's, the signs and the colors and the things that are being destroyed and being built, and the people within that nobody could ever have planned such a thing. It's kind of thrown together, and then as the artist, I mean, I have to work my way out of that to bring a logic to my paintings that even though they're dense and full of busyness, that they're still inviting to the viewer. Because if it's so chaotic, just like the world, it doesn't that's not going to help.
Yeah.
You know, I tell my students that think of yourself not as a painter but as a director. You know, that your job is to first capture the attention of the passerby or the viewer, and then direct their eye into the picture, then help it move through and rest and look and stop in certain places, and then, you know, move on.